Today is all about cabbage. Now, to some people, that might not sound that exciting, but this creamy garlic butter cabbage recipe has gone viral all over TikTok, and after you try it, you'll see why. Meet me in the kitchen, let's make it happen. Now, normally I'm not super big on all the TikTok viral recipes, but this one looked too good for me to pass up. So we're gonna go ahead and get the party started with a head of cabbage. You want a nice sharp knife, we're gonna cut it right in half. Like so. Take a little forearm strength. Anything that's kind of bruised on the top, you can remove that. Now, you're gonna go ahead and cut this into wedges, basically, about like this size. So we're gonna sear this part of the cabbage right here, and then we're gonna braise it or roast it until it gets nice and tender. That's the goal. This is one of those side dishes that could really be a main. You could add some sausage to it, you could add bacon, anything like that. Be a good little appetizer for a get-together. Kind of cut them up into smaller pieces and put them on a little tray. All right, guys, so at this point, you want to go ahead and get your skillet nice and hot. We're working over medium-high heat. The goal here is to get a nice sear and color on the cabbage. We're not going to over-season the cabbage at this point because we don't want the seasoning to burn up at the bottom. Season the cabbage after we sear it, and then of course there's going to be plenty of flavor in the sauce that I'm going to show you guys in a little bit. So we're going to lay this down, make sure it's making good surface area contact with that skillet. You want to get it in there before it's too hot because cabbage does have a pretty high water content, and you don't want to get a bunch of splatter on your forearms and your hands. Press down, make sure it's making contact, and then just give it some time. Now, just when you thought this was a healthy recipe, we're gonna go in with 1 stick of butter. For my keto folks out there, this isn't gonna scare you away. This is still considered healthy. Nice keto recipe right here. This could be, you know, something that you can make for meal prep. It could be a meal in itself. Add a little protein to the side. Can't go wrong. Melt down that stick of butter. Then we're gonna add in our diced onion and a few heads of garlic. You can use fresh garlic. You can use minced garlic, garlic paste, whatever you like. For a recipe like this with just a few ingredients, fresh is always best. Again, we're gonna season this thoroughly. We're also gonna hit the cabbage with a little seasoning before it goes back into our sauce that we're making right now. All right, guys, so you wanna bring that heavy cream up to a simmer, allow it to kind of come together a little bit. It'll reduce and thicken up. Also, what's gonna help thicken it up is when we start to add in this Parmesan cheese, which is right about now. So we have the garlic in here, we got the onion, we got all the seasonings that you saw. This one is smelling amazing. We're gonna go in with quite a bit of Parmesan cheese. You're essentially making like a kind of like a Cajun Alfredo, essentially. That's what this cabbage is gonna roast in. It's gonna get nice and tender. It's gonna absorb all that flavor from the sauce. So a full 5 ounces or so, 4 to 5 ounces of Parmesan should get the job done. And you don't want to do it while it's boiling hot. You want it to be like just below a simmer because you don't want the oil to start to separate. There's already butter in here, so we don't want, you know, fat separation and look super oily on us. So just control your heat, taste as you go, adjust the flavor to your preference. All right, people, there you have it. The viral TikTok sensation, the side dish that should be the main squeeze. This cabbage recipe is absolutely delicious. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. If you want to see more recipes like this, make sure you hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, it's time to dig in for the taste test. What I like about the way that I prepared this is I want it to have a little bit of a bite to it. I don't want it to be super, super soft. Tender enough that you can stick the fork in easily, but still have a little bit of a crunch. That's what I'm going for. You can leave it in the oven a little bit longer if you want it extra tender. We did this at 350 degrees for about 45 to 50 minutes. Bottoms up. One more for the road.
Put off more than I can chew. That's good.